Mary Dillon, some of you I might have been talking to before. I coordinate the Heritage Keepers programme for Burnbio Trust. So what is Heritage Keepers? So we want to work with primary schools and community groups from all over Ireland and help them discover their local heritage and think about ways that they can enhance or protect that heritage. And participants will learn about their built cultural and natural heritage, and also what else makes their local place special. They'll consider if there's anything they want to change, improve, or celebrate relating to their local heritage, and then plan a project or an action around this. So there's 5 online workshops. Workshops are 2 hours long for groups, and for schools, they are 1 hour long with 1 hour of classwork led by the teacher per week. So I suppose you could say it's both for the groups, the community groups who take part, and for the primary schools, it is 2 hours by 5, and so 10 hours in total. So just to go through the workshops, the first one is called Introduction in My Place. We begin by considering the layers of your place, what you like about your place, what you might like to change in your place, and the local assets that exist. Week 2 then, Culture in the Past. So using a variety of online resources, we investigate what life was like in our places in the past. We investigate the legacy left by our ancestors, the stories and folklore of our local places, the monuments and the buildings. Week 3 then is biodiversity and land use, so the natural heritage that surrounds us. We also look to identify changes in land use in our areas, and we think about what we could do to protect biodiversity locally. Week 4 then is called the future, so it's about now that we've considered how our places as they currently are, we look to the future and how we would like them to be. And this is where the initial ideas for action plans are discussed and a framework for moving forward is shared. And the last workshop then, Planning for Action. So we finalize our local action plan, as well as discussing how to engage with the wider community. So after the 5 online workshops are over, we do 1 a week. That is by no means the end of it. What kicks in then is the project support. So you can see there, week 5, you're planning for action. You're going to come up with a plan of an action that you can do, and we're going to give you some money towards it, and we're also going to give you some advice and maybe mentor you, I suppose, as you complete this project. While grant aid for actions is available for every school and group who takes part, not every action would necessarily be funded because, for example, we couldn't fund anything that was detrimental to the environment or to local heritage. But generally what happens, if people put forward something that we don't fund or that there's some kind of problem with, you know, they amend their plan and then they get the funding. Projects that have been completed in the past, and there's a huge variety now because we've had over 160 schools and heritage and groups take part. So projects completed in the past include heritage trails, tree planting, wildlife ponds, oral history projects, place days, booklets on local heritage, traditional music concerts, just to name a few, a small scattering of them. So you can see that there's a very wide breadth for different types of actions to be carried out after you complete the workshops. And so how is it delivered? So the workshop is delivered, all the workshops are delivered online, okay, because we cover 35 groups and 35 schools nationwide. So the online sessions, you'll see this when you go to the application form, you can choose between November, December, or January, February for delivery. If you select that you're available for both, you're more likely to get a place on the program because you're increasing your options. We deliver to schools in the daytime and we deliver 2 groups in the evening. So each workshop will have a maximum of 6 schools and 6 groups. So if you're a group and you're taking part, it will be 5 other groups from other parts of the country taking part with you. I would say when you are on the application form, choose the time or times that suit your group best. But as I said, don't be afraid to select more than one option if you are available on more than one evening, because you've more chance of attaining a place. So who should apply? Well, I suppose there's 2 cohorts we're looking for. Adult community groups, they can be new groups or existing groups. You need at least 6 people from a group to participate. These groups could be tidy towns, men's sheds, development associations, resident associations, etc. Or you can form a new group to take part. People have done that before in the past. We do look for a minimum of 6 adults to take part with a maximum of 10, and we take a roll every week. And the reason to do this is, like, if there is only 2 or 3 in your group, it's an awful big ask and big pressure on ye to carry out the action. So we do insist on a minimum of 6 people to take part. And if you don't have 6 people in your group, you can always ask participants from other groups, but in your area, as long as you're all from the same place. So we also are looking for primary schools, 5th or 6th class. Other classes are allowed if you're in a shared classroom, but that's the only situation where they're allowed. It's primarily for 5th and 6th classes. It's also open to, and this only applies to a small minority of you, teachers who've completed our week-long training course in June 24, and you'll know who you are. So what's expected if you take part from your class or from your community group? So I suppose if you apply and you then accept your place on the programme, once you accept your place in the programme, you're committing to engaging in the workshops. So that's 5 by 2-hour sessions for the adult groups, 5 by 1-hour sessions followed by 1-hour teacher work with the schools. You're expected to research, plan a local action or project, and we will do a lot of the planning in week 4 and 5 for that, and also complete, of course, your local action or project, and you will be applying to us for dedicated funding for that. And as I said before, there's funding for every school and for every group, but sometimes people put in for funding of something that isn't actually applicable. Like, it has to be something that enhances, protects, further investigates, celebrates some part of your built cultural or natural local heritage. And then when you finish, there's a short report to be completed. When it comes to taking part, some groups like to meet in the local community centre and then share one computer, because don't forget it's all online. But more commonly, what groups do is they're made up of individuals who are joining in from their own home on their own laptop or device. We're often asked in relation to the local action project that ye are going to carry out, if it's a good idea to have an idea, if it's a good idea to know from the very beginning what you want to do. And I would say there is an advantage to going through the 5-week process and coming up with a project that way, rather than going in with your mind made up. This is especially the case for schools, because the research shows that deciding on and then planning and carrying out and completing an action fosters a real sense of achievement for kids and shows them that they can take on an idea, and with the right support that they can turn that idea into an action. So the timeline. Well, the deadline for applying is the 4th of October, midday on the 4th of October, and their workshops will run from early November till early December, the 5 weeks. You then have so you can choose to do the November to December workshops or the January to February workshops. If you choose November to December, when you complete the 5th workshop in early December, there'll be 4 weeks then for you to apply to the grant, for the grant to us. The grant is a simple application form, but we do pay suppliers directly. So you do have to get an invoice or a quote from whoever is supplying the material for your action. For example, say you wanted to plant trees, you would then get a quote from the local tree nursery or wherever for say 50 trees, and then we pay them directly. We let you know that your grant has been approved and it's been paid, and then you go and carry out your action. If you take part between November and December, you have until the 25th of April to complete your action. If you take part in January or early February, you've got until the 30th of May to complete your action. And we are quite strict on those deadlines. The workshops, as I was saying, for the adult groups are generally on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday evening, and for the schools, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning or afternoon. So again, I would encourage you, when you are applying, select as many different options as you can, as you are available for, because that will help you get a place when we are very oversubscribed. If you only select one option, you're less likely to get a place. So where would you find out more information? So heritagekeepers.ie is our website. There's lots of information there, including tips on using the application form, looking at past projects that other groups have done and ideas for projects and so on. Also our Facebook page, which is Heritage Keepers Burnbeo, and our Instagram page, which is heritage.keepers. So to apply, what you'll want to do is go to heritagekeepers.ie and click Apply Now. And the deadline is October the 4th. We use submit.com for our applications, so you will be asked to create a submit account before filling out the simple form. We'd ask you then, if you can, to remember to check your spam for emails from submit.com, because that is how you will find out if you have a place on the program. So again, we have a place for 70 groups and schools in total, 35 each. And if we are oversubscribed, we will do a lottery for places, which we have done in other years. If you applied last year and you apply again this year and you didn't get a place last year, you will be more likely to be chosen for a place this year.